06 Adventure here, and today we're going to one of my favorite places up here in the Keweenaw. We are going to visit the Calumet and Hecla turned Quincy Mining Company dredge number 2. Now this dredge was built in 1914. It's about I want to say 100 foot long and 50 foot wide or so. It was a suction dredge, so the most common kind of dredge most people are familiar with, the ones that you see up in Alaska and all kinds of stuff like that. Those were bucket dredges, so they had a conveyor belt made out of basically excavator scoops, and those buckets were what actually pulled the silt and rock and pay dirt up, and they actually used sluice box, so basically a filter, to pull gold and other materials out of the sludge from the bottom of where they were dredging. Now, this dredge was originally built by the Calumet and Hecla Mining Company to basically reclaim their stamp sands. So stamp sands were a byproduct of the earlier kind of copper mining that we did up here, where what would happen is the mine rock would go from the mine by train to basically a big rock crusher, and that would break it down into little tiny, little grains of sand. So these stamp sands were eventually recognized to still contain a whole bunch of copper that Calumet and Hecla wanted to reclaim and sell for a profit. So they built a type of dredge called a suction dredge. Now what this basically is it's a giant vacuum on a barge. It was able to go out and suck up sand and silt from the bottom of the lake up to 140 feet down or so, and that sand and silt would be transported up to the surface, taken along basically a hose back to a processing plant, and it would be processed from there. So welcome to Quincy Dredge number 2. Now I say number 2 because number 1 is actually still out here on Torch Lake. It's, you look out there a little ways, about a quarter of a mile or so in the summertime, there are marker buoys right over there to show where dredge number 1 is under about 40 feet of water. Now, this is technically a shipwreck. It sunk here, I believe, at some point in the 60s or 70s, and it's been kind of sitting here ever since. Now, that's why you can see it's at a really strange angle compared to the horizon outside. Now, right now I'm actually standing on Torch Lake inside of the dredge. There's not a whole lot left because everything copper worthwhile has been taken by scrappers. But there's some pretty neat stuff over here, and if anyone knows what this is, please feel free to let me know because I don't. So there's some old switches over here and over here as well. Large wood container full of ceramic electrical equipment. Now if we go out the back here, there is a smokestack. Now I'm not sure what this would have been used for, seeing how this dredge had a big electric pump on it. I don't think it had a gas generator because I thought it was fed power from the shore, but you never know, I might be wrong. Now if we come over here, you can see a lot more of the dredge's superstructure. Now this is all support for the large arm that holds the hose out over the water. If we come over here, you'll get a little bit of a better view of it. Back outside here, sorry about this sun. So that is our suction hose that I was talking about in the car. That's what pulled all of the silt up from the bottom of Torch Lake. Now, as you can see, everything here is still in really good shape after, given how long it's been sitting here, not moving at all. A lot of the steel siding has come off over time, revealing the wood underneath, but even then it's still in good shape when you consider how much this is made out of wood. Now, I've actually got a plan with some friends. We're all scuba divers, and we're thinking about going out to take a look at Quincy Dredge number 1 at some point this summer. And if I go, I'll be sure to bring some camera gear down with me. Now here we've got a really big motor. I don't know what it drove, but it's pretty clear that somebody's tried taking it apart, and obviously no one's been in here who's got the strength to rip out all the guts from there, but that's fine. Now, another little fact about this dredge, back in its prime, it was capable of pulling about 10,000 tons of sand up and processing all that in one day. Every day, 7 days a week for the Quincy Mining Company. I'm trying to get through here, it's icy. There's a large pump still over there. I don't know what else is left in there besides just the pump itself. There's no motor attached to it, that's been gone for a while. Now if we come over here, you can see this is the pilot house. So this is where, well, I guess the dredge driver, I don't know what he would be called. Pilot, captain, I'm not sure. It's really icy. But this is where he would sit, and this was his view. It's not too bad. Now on a normal summer day, this dredge is almost completely surrounded by water. The only way to get on is how I'm going to show you how we get off, is by walking the hose line all the way out to the end of the dredge here. My gloves will quit sticking to everything. So we come out underneath the pilot house and walk our way up, all the way up the hose line there. And the only point where this dredge is any really close to land at all is the very tip of the hose down there. Besides that, it's all out covered in water. The other interesting thing about this is that it's partially sunken, so I'm not sure exactly how much is intact underneath the under the water over there. Be interesting to go out here with a snorkel and some fins and just check it out, but again, unfortunately, it's one of those things where this water is really hazardous and you don't want to go screwing around in it too much. But anyway, I think this is where I will leave you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the 906 Adventure. If you did, feel free to like it and give us a subscribe if you want more content like this. Again, we're just trying to document the history of the copper country as it stands today in 2018, so that people in the future can enjoy it once it's either gone or turned into a museum or something like that. So thank you very much and have a great day.